Okay, hi Cindy. I just wanted to make a video this morning that kind of just reviews some of the negative reinforcement things that I'm going to put in your pocket guide. And it's a lot of the things that we did this past weekend, but I just wanted you to have an instructional tutorial that you could go back and look at. So a lot of times when I do use negative reinforcement, I'll positive reinforce on top of the release of pressure. However, this stuff is still what I consider her negative reinforcement exercises because primarily she's being reinforced by the release of pressure. And then of course, it's kind of on a variable interval as to when I'm going to click and treat with the release of pressure. And I actually did make a video last week about variable reinforcement. I can't remember if I sent that to you, but I'll be sure to make sure you have that. Okay, so I just have my dressage whip, and we're just going to start out with her backup and talk about different ways that we can ask her to do that, the importance of it, and what you can do when she might get confused or a little sticky with it. So, of course, the backup's a good way to always ask your horse to get out of your space. If you're just standing and talking kind of like I am now and they kind of want to get in your lap. It's also beneficial when you're in hand and you want to make sure the horse is really staying with you. It's a good way to kind of redirect their attention. And of course, it's a good maneuver if you just need to navigate something on the trails or maybe an obstacle course. And of course, it's kind of one of the foundational aspects we've used in teaching her collection when done in hand. So the first way that she knows to back up is just off the wiggle of the rope. And you want to remember that sequence of cues. So my sequence is first I'm going to lean and I'll give her the verbal cue. Then I'll wiggle the rope. And then if she were to not back up off of those three sequences, that's when I might step in and tap her on the chest to remind her. Now, depending on what I've been doing with her, how attentive she is, that's how soft she's going to be. So I just got her out. She's not likely to be very soft, but after I kind of get her warmed up a little bit, she's likely to soften up. So we're just going to start off with the rope method, and I'm going to turn just a little bit so that you can see. And we're going to start with that sequence. So I'm going to lean, back up. Good. And since we're just now kind of getting warmed up, I'm just going to take that one little step. And the more energy I want from her, the more energy I'm going to ask. Or if I want her to continue backing up, I'm going to continue with my lean and my signal. Back up. Give her a little more space this time. Hopefully I'll kind of stay in the camera's view. Back up. Good. 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 Back up. That was nice. So you see there I kind of continually asked. And then I gave her a little click and treat there on top of the release of pressure. Of course, the pressure there was more like energy pressure. There was no contact pressure. So that's really her primary way to back her up when you have her on a lead line. And it was nice because I didn't even really have to follow up and give her much chest tapping there. But that is always the last of your sequence. Alternatively, we've worked on just the hand wave. So I kind of quiet my rope, or if I were at liberty, of course you wouldn't have a rope. So same thing, I'm going to lean, back up, wave my hand, good, good, back up, good. And since we have that trailer back there, I'm not going to ask for a whole lot. Very nice, yeah. And of course, we want to be sure that she's still comfortable with doing it just off the isolation of pressure, so that's my third way. Of course, you can't really be that far when you do that, but I want just to be able to tap her on the chest and she backs up, and that's very important that she stays comfortable with that pressure. Good girl. Okay, so now talking about the backups in hand. it's kind of the same sequence. I'm going to get my shoulders back, and I'm going to kind of start walking backwards. That's kind of compared to the lean when I was in front of her. And I'm going to say back up. Good, good, good. Back up, good. She's like, I'm really trusting you not to run me into that trailer. That was nice there. And that's good to do, again, kind of that are you with me exercise. And you can see how I'm just kind of isolating it to my body stance there. And I wasn't really giving her much halter pressure. When I do that sequence, I try to avoid the halter pressure as much as possible. So I don't know how well you're able to see. I've got my hand here, back up. Good, but I'm not really applying any pressure. That was more something that I did when I was teaching her to kind of show her the answer. Now, if I were to apply any halter pressure, I would expect her to round and tuck her head in. So I'll show you the difference. Good, good, good. And so there we were kind of isolating it.